More tense and telling radio exchanges between Lewis Hamilton and his new Ferrari race engineer, Riccardo Adami, emerged after a challenging Monaco Grand Prix weekend. And with each race, Hamilton's on-air chemistry with Adami remains a talking point. Their sometimes clunky radio communications have been raising eyebrows since the season began, fueling speculation about the duo's working dynamic inside the Scarlet team. One particular moment of confusion came early in the Grand Prix when Adami radioed in with the phrase, "This is our race." Hamilton, seemingly interpreting it as a signal that he was in contention for the win, was left puzzled. In reality, the message was likely meant to convey that he was free to race independently, with no obligation to support teammate Charles Leclerc's charge to victory. The miscommunications didn't end there. On lap 74, Hamilton questioned whether the leading pack, Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc, Oscar Piastri, and Max Verstappen, were still nearly a minute ahead. When Adami failed to provide a clear response, Hamilton curtly pointed out, "You're not answering the question." Post-race, things didn't cool off much. During the cool-down lap, Hamilton asked, "Are you upset with me or something?" A comment that quickly sparked debate online. Adami offered no reply, though it's possible he had already signed off from Ferrari's internal comm system and never heard the question in real time. Now, as the F1 circus rolls into Barcelona for the Spanish Grand Prix, even more radio messages from Monaco have surfaced, painting a picture of Hamilton growing increasingly exasperated with the lack of clarity from the pit wall. The first signs of agitation came as early as lap 21 of the 78-lap race, when Hamilton called out for some more information from his engineer. The full exchange is as follows. Adami: "Look after the traction." Hamilton: "What sort of pace do you need from me? Give me some more information. Like, am I saving tires right now, or you like to close and push as hard as possible?" Adami: 15.2 target lap time. Max Verstappen, who ultimately crossed the line just ahead of Lewis Hamilton in fourth place, made his sole pit stop on lap 28, 10 laps after Hamilton had already come in. By lap 36, Hamilton was back on the radio, seemingly surprised to find that Verstappen was no longer the car directly ahead of him on track. But it was between laps 45 and 48 when Hamilton's patience really began to fray, with a flurry of increasingly tense exchanges with race engineer Riccardo Adami. What followed was a series of messages that offered a raw glimpse into Hamilton's mounting frustration as he tried to make sense of his race situation amid what he clearly felt was a lack of clear guidance from the Ferrari pit wall. Hamilton: "I really don't know where I am, and I'm 15 seconds behind." Adami: "Yeah, let's keep going with this pace. Can improve 2/10 on a 14.5 would be ideal. Let's wait and see." Hamilton: "It's really not helping, mate. I'm struggling with the car, I don't know. Are all the cars ahead of me doing a 14.9? Adami: "Yes, pretty much. Norris is 14.5 inches. Red Bull had rolled the dice by leaving Verstappen out, banking on the possibility of a red flag that would have handed him a free tyre change and, potentially, an unlikely victory. As a result, the Dutchman found himself leading much of the second half of the race. But Hamilton seemed unaware of Verstappen's strategic gamble when engineer Riccardo Adami chimed in with his next meaningful update around laps 55 and 56. Adami: "Verstappen race leader is 22 ahead. His lap time, 15.6 seconds. Hamilton: "Yeah, where is everyone else?" Adami: "It's Piastri, 10 seconds ahead of you." Hamilton: "Well, why the hell you give me Verstappen's stint, mate?" Adami: "Just to know race situation." Moments later, Hamilton dove into the pits for his second mandatory stop on lap 56, sounding increasingly disoriented. As he cruised down the lane, he admitted over team radio that he felt lost, blaming the pit wall's sporadic updates for leaving him in the dark during a crucial phase of the race. Hamilton: "Yeah, mate, just feeling a little bit lost out there. Just, it's very sporadic info." Adami: "Understood. And we are in free air now till the end." Hamilton: "Okay, where is everyone, so I know?" Don't need to know where Verstappen is, like who's ahead of me and who's behind. What position am I in? Adami. We are a net P5. Piastri is 30 seconds ahead. Hamilton. Has he stopped twice? Adami. Yeah, correct, and no threat from behind. Hamilton. So I can bring these tyres in slow? Adami. Yes, you can. More than once, Hamilton found himself playing strategist instead of just driver, having to prompt Adami for clarity on the pace he was meant to maintain. Instead of clear instructions, he was often met with vague updates about other drivers, but no actionable plan. Things got even murkier as he navigated backmarkers, repeatedly asking how the traffic was impacting his race, only to be met with radio silence or cryptic replies. How is this affecting my race pace? How is this affecting my race, mate? That was insane traffic. How much is that fucking my race up? A lap later, Adami finally chimed in. It's still okay. By which point Verstappen, Hamilton's only realistic target, had already bolted up the road. That crucial detail, it seems, never made it to Hamilton's ears. Confused, he later questioned why he was suddenly getting updates on his gap to Verstappen, especially when at that point Piastri was actually the car ahead. With no rivals in sight and strategy lines increasingly blurred, Hamilton finally asked the question that had been brewing all race long. Have I been dead slow this whole race? He got no reply. If communication is the cornerstone of any great partnership, then Lewis Hamilton and Riccardo Adami might need a serious team-building exercise. What unfolded over team radio in Monaco was as strange as it was telling. After a grueling, uneventful run to P5, Hamilton sounded more like a man solving a mystery than racing a car, clashing with his race engineer in bursts of confusion and frustration. And when he finally crossed the line, over a minute behind the leader, Adami's post-race message only added to the bizarre tone of the afternoon. It's a P5, he said. Lost a lot of time in traffic, then the rest we need to investigate. Still, the spotlight seems to be aimed in the wrong direction. Former F1 strategist Bernie Collins believes the real concern isn't the tense radio chatter, it's Hamilton's performance on track. Speaking on the latest Sky Sports F1 podcast, Collins pointed to Hamilton's lack of pace in the middle phase of the Monaco Grand Prix as a far more troubling issue, suggesting it raises deeper questions than any communication breakdown ever could. I was a bit surprised that at the second pit stop, Lewis had lost enough time that Piastri could box and come out in front of him, she said. Lewis just wasn't able to push and stay with them, which is surprising given how much Lewis loves Monaco. He seemed much more confident than Leclerc was, so that is more worrying for me than the qualifying radio stuff. As Ferrari heads to Barcelona, all eyes will be on whether Hamilton and Adami can finally sync, or if their radio static will keep clouding the bigger picture. With new regulations looming and pressure building, the time for misfires is over. In Spain, clarity won't be optional. It'll be critical.